this is Warlow from Business Loan Services and welcome to my Friday Business Finance Bulletin, my weekly roundup of news, tips, ideas and strategies on raising finance and dealing with banks. So what have I got to share with you this week? Well, we're going to be looking at confidence levels amongst UK small business owners. We're going to be taking a look at the alternative finance scene and more particularly exactly how much business owners are borrowing from the alternative finance lenders. And also my business finance tip of the week, a quick look at the short-term loan market. So let's start off looking at confidence levels. A survey caught my eye carried out by Lloyds Banks. It's a 6-monthly survey that they do amongst 1,500 companies across the UK, and it's called Business in Britain, looking at a whole host of issues that business and companies had to deal with. Now, the one key finding from the report is that confidence levels continue to remain very high when compared to the start of the recession. There was a slight dip compared to the previous 6-month report, but say confidence still really strong in the UK economy. So what's driving that? Well, the survey found that 51% of companies surveyed said that they've seen an increase in sales over the last 6 months. In fact, only 8% said that they saw a fall. So that's all good news. But so what are they doing looking ahead? Well, 31% of those businesses said they are now looking to actively increase their headcount over the next 6 months. A very good sign. But the biggest barrier that they face? Well, 41% of those businesses surveyed said they are struggling to find the right people with the right skills. And it's interesting how kind of barriers to growth have changed over the last 2 years or so. Some time ago it was access to finance generally, but now it's finding the people with the right skill, and it just shows that the slack in the labour market is generally being taken up now, and that's probably the biggest challenge that businesses are facing. So in terms of confidence levels, how is that translating into profit expectations? Well, 47% of those surveyed said they're expecting to see an increase in profits over the next 6 months. So all good, positive stuff, and it's great to see such positivity out there amongst UK business owners. So let's look at the alternative lending market. Another survey caught my eye carried out by Liberis, which is a short-term business finance company. And they went out and asked 1,000 business owners about their experience in raising money and where they're getting their cash from. Now, the first stat that caught my eye, which apparently is not surprising to me certainly, but to many people, is about the demand for finance out there, the appetite amongst business owners to borrow. The survey found that of those surveyed, 70% of businesses said they had no need to borrow money, had no appetite at all. Now, that is counter to what many people think. But of those that did borrow money, 30% of them said they actually went straight to the alternative finance market and bypassing the traditional sources. And in fact, only 31% went for a bank loan and 18% went for a bank overdraft. So it just shows that the nature of the market is beginning to change, where people are going now to the alternative lending scene. So what about the success rate? Well, again, something counter to what many people think. The survey found that 68% of those who asked for money got what they wanted. So nearly 70%. Only 21% had a partial amount of money that they'd asked for. So the success rate is certainly higher than many people think. Another interesting thing that came out of the survey, which kind of interests us, is that businesses saying they're spending on average about 3.5 hours looking at different providers to find the cash that they need. And they're typically touching about 3 different finance companies in order to get what they want. Well, of course, if you want to save time like that, you can come to people like ourselves, Business Loan Services. We take all of that away from you and find the right partner. So, interesting survey there just about this switch. Now that links in then to another piece of research that came out from the Peer-to-Peer Finance Association. This is the umbrella organisation for crowdfunders, and they came out with their latest statistics for the second quarter of 2015, and it showed that £507 million has been lent out by peer-to-peer lenders in the second quarter of 2015. Now, when you compare to the first quarter of 2015, that figure is 459 million. So you can see a big leap in the amount of money being lent out by peer-to-peer lenders. Now, within that figure of 507 million, that's split out between consumers and small businesses, so it's a combined figure. Now this is interesting when you actually look at the figures, pull them apart. The actual amount of money currently being lent to small businesses actually declined between Q1 and Q2. First time I've seen that. So is this a sign either of this lower demand amongst businesses, or is it more of a fact that businesses are starting to creep back to the banks? Well, we'll have to watch this this next quarter survey to see if that dip in lending to small businesses continues. But either way, many businesses still continuing to go to crowdfunders for their finance needs. So on to my business finance tip of the week, and this is linked to what we've been talking about, sources of finance. We're seeing an increased demand amongst business owners for short-term funding. You know, where businesses don't want to borrow money for 5-10 years or so, sometimes you just need a short injection of cash, whether that's to meet a pressing payment, whether it's to bridge the gap of bringing new staff on board to the point where they're actually generating money. It may be that you've got an outstanding tax bill that needs paying, whatever it may be. There many businesses don't want medium to long-term money. Now there are a number of providers out there where you can just borrow anything from 1 month up to 24 months. And in fact, we've just done one this week for a client who was looking for £20,000, very quick, short-term injection into the business. And you know what? The best thing about this, these applications are really quick, and that one was turned around in about 3 hours from time of application to money in the bank. Yeah, 3 hours, 20 grand, it's that quick. So if you do have a short-term need, don't think that there's no solution for you just because it's a relatively small amount or a shortish period, because there are lenders out there that will look at that. If you want to know more, please feel just get in touch with us, info@businessloanservices.co.uk, and we'll be happy to have a chat. So that's it for this week. As ever, I hope you enjoyed the bulletin, and don't forget, you've also got the podcast version where you can listen in your car or when you're on the move. All you have to do is go to our SoundCloud page or to iTunes and just search for Business Finance Bulletin. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much for being with me. Have a great, successful and profitable week, and I look forward to being with you again next Friday. Bye bye now.